Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you so much to all of our witnesses for being here. Mr. Hyman, in your testimony, you mentioned your involvement in trying to get high schoolers in the trades and your early involvement in high school. And I know I'm part of the generation where all of our best trade schools got turned into, or trade programs got turned into computer programming classes instead of the auto shop. I own an auto repair shop myself, working the trades, and our kids are being told directly and indirectly that basically you did something wrong if you ended up working with your hands for a career. And we're seeing the consequences of that. We are short, 350,000 workers in the construction trades alone. And so my question to you is, what do we do to restore the prestige and sort of the dignity back to working in the trades in your perspective?
So that's great, because you're right on target. 6 years ago, I worked with a state rep by the name of Michael Tobush, myself, and a few other people, and we started, in Pennsylvania, they passed a law where teachers can now get continuing ed credits by going out to industry. Instead of just doing other stuff, they actually go to industry, and the results out of that was tremendous. They didn't understand what the local community, what the local business has done. They didn't understand how much money the people were making, so on and so on. So we've done that, and I can tell you our local school, we've done open houses with industry involved. We've changed the whole concept of how we teach. And like I said, there's 197 children. Our local school that graduates 240 students, we had 88 eighth graders apply for the ninth grade to go to technical school. Now, the unfortunate part about it, because there's no funding and the school's not big enough, only about 15% of them got in. But that perception, I think, is changing, along with what's going on when it costs $150 to get your toilet looked at and it's not fixed yet. That is also making parents, I think, look at it a little different now.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Ms. Hendrickson, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for the work you do. I'm a mother of an 18-month-old, so I was on all those wait lists. I live in a childcare desert. It's about 4 hours of driving every day that my child goes to daycare. So thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for your persistence, and to your employees who choose to work in an underfunded, underpaid job. I would not be here without folks like you and your team. So I guess my question is, well, first, could you kind of speak to the challenges of recruitment? And could you also talk, like, what can we do in Congress?
So the number one challenge is the wage. We cannot pay anything. Wisconsin was about $10 an hour. Family child care, we make less than minimum wage by the time you put our hours in. And so we really need to be able to get those wages up without pricing parents out. So we have to have some sort of system where the money goes directly to the wages. In Wisconsin, we took our ARPA funding and we actually put it into two pots. Every single program is eligible every single month to get money. One part is for operational costs. The other part goes directly to the teachers. And we fought for that as a group within our state and worked with our state licensing agency to make that happen. And that is what we are continuing to try and do, because it really comes down to those wages. And we also need some more health care and paid family medical leave and other things that all of us really small businesses cannot access, because we cannot afford to provide those things for ourselves or for our employees. And so that way, if we had it more took our taxes and more equitably distributed them, we would then be able to help encourage all of our people to be able to do what they love and not have to worry about being tied to a different employer because they need health care. That's also why a lot of parents actually aren't able to stay home with their children longer. They have their baby and they have to drop off after 6 weeks because they don't have any paid medical leave. If that would also help offset some of those crunches for infant care, especially because if a parent is able to stay home longer, they don't need care for longer. And so those spots won't be as filled with those infants and toddlers, which I am all for health and safety requirements. I do not want ratios. Imagine having 6 babies, all of you, while you're trying to, interact with each of them and meet their needs.
Thank you so much. And finally, Mr. Davis, I'm just so impressed with your entrepreneurship, and that spirit will carry you so far. And I think it's great. One thing that I've heard from other entrepreneurs is that people who rely on SSDI or SSI or other federal support sometimes choose not to take on that risk. And risk their benefits as they start a business. Do you have thoughts on that quickly?
So I never took SSI. I never really believed in it just because I want to save it for those that really need it, because I know plenty of people that don't really need it but are eligible for it, and those that clearly do need it need a very comprehensive proof when it's pretty obvious, which I think is kind of contradictive. But yeah, I never really believed in it, so my parents did a good job of instilling that in me at a young age, that you could work, so you're going to work. So yeah, I abide that by them, and I thank them for that every day.
They're giving you the thumbs up behind you too.